Mr. Hyzler, you have the floor for 8 minutes.
Members of the Budgetary Control Committee, I am truly honoured to have this opportunity to address you at this public hearing as Malta's nominee to the European Court of Auditors. As is expected of me in this forum, I would like to describe my credentials as a person especially qualified for this office, as required by Article 286 of the Treaty on the Functioning of the European Union. But please allow me to take this opportunity to, first of all, salute the brave heroes of Ukraine who deserve all our support at this time of war. And I would also like to salute the memory of Alex Bredingmeier, the very well-respected member of ECA who passed away 7 days ago. I am a lawyer by profession, having practiced for over 30 years, mainly in the corporate field. In 1992, I entered political life and served as an elected member of Parliament for 8 years, over 3 legislatures. I served as a junior minister in the Ministry for Economic Services for 5 of those years. I retired from politics and the political arena in general nearly 20 years ago. Whilst I served as a member of Parliament, I was also a very active member of the Public Accounts Committee that exercised a function similar to that carried out by this committee, by the CONT. Malta's Public Accounts Committee reviews and discusses reports presented by the Auditor General, Malta's SAI, to Parliament. This experience, I believe, would serve me well in the role of member of the ECA. I withdrew from political life in 2003. Since then, I have not been involved in politics or in any political activity in any manner whatsoever. Following my departure from Parliament and outside from my legal career, I served as Malta's non-resident ambassador to South Africa, chair of the Board of Governors of the Malta Arbitration Centre, president, batonnier of the Chamber of Advocates, member of the Commission for Administration of Justice, member of the Judicial Appointments Committee, and chairman of the Ethics Committee for Advocates. In 2018, I was appointed as Malta's first Commissioner for Standards in Public Life by a unanimous resolution of the Maltese Parliament. In this role, I investigate allegations of ethical misconduct by ministers and members of Parliament, including breaches of statutory obligations, as well as abuse of discretionary power. I examine and verify declaration of assets of individual members of the legislature and executive branches of government. I make recommendations for the improvement of ethical rules and standards, including recommendations for the introduction of a register for gifts, benefits and hospitality, and a revolving doors policy. I have also introduced guidelines on the use of public funds on advertising and guidelines on the use of social media by ministers. As Commissioner, I have taken bold decisions to expose shortcomings in ethical behaviour and conduct across the political divide, strongly and fairly. Through my reports, I have raised issues such as conflict of interest that is created when backbench members of Parliament are engaged by the government as consultants or chairpersons of boards, the conflict of interest when opposition members of Parliament retain their jobs within the public sector, the need for transparency in the dealings between ministers and business interests, and for ministers personally to maintain a social distance from business persons at all times, not only during pandemics, and the misuse of public funds by ministers for self-promotion purposes by generating content for their personal social media accounts and through paid advertisements in the traditional media. As a result of my investigation for the first time in Malta, ministers have been held directly to account for breaches of ethics. In 2 instances, this has resulted in ministerial resignations. This has also resulted in an increased awareness of standards of public life in Malta at a time when Malta's reputation has come under severe international scrutiny following the Panama Papers revelations, the assassination of journalist Daphne Caruana Galizia, and the FATF grey listing. In less than 4 years, I have built from scratch an independent institution that has secured the trust of the Maltese citizens across the political spectrum, and that has been recognized by the independent media in Malta as one of the main institutions on the island that function effectively in holding government to account. Madam Chair, my office also enjoys wide respect from European Union institutions, which has resulted in regular exchanges of views and opinions, and lately in the provision of funding by the European Commission on an integrity and transparency project for Malta. I have also entered into valuable collaboration with the OECD as the implementing partner of the integrity project. My office is consulted by the European Commission, DG Just, on its annual Rule of Law report, by the Organisation for Security and Cooperation in Europe, and by the Council of Europe. In addition, I enjoy fruitful bilateral relations with my counterparts in other jurisdictions, in particular the House of Commons in the United Kingdom. I therefore feel very gratified and privileged to be here before you in the belief that I can contribute to the European project at a time when Europe is under threat and when our collective achievements are at risk of being undermined by war or internal scepticism. Through ECHA, I wish to play a part in realizing the aspiration expressed by my compatriot Roberta Metsola, President of the European Parliament, when she stated, "I want people to believe in Europe, to recapture that sense of hope and enthusiasm in our project, to stand up for those values that unite us as Europeans." I believe that my well-received contribution in the spheres of integrity, transparency and accountability in Malta can also be beneficial to the improvements undertaken by ECHA in recent months. The Next Generation EU, particularly Recovery and Resilience Facility, in this post-pandemic period, will continue to provide new audit challenges that will require a departure from traditional audit approaches, with even more emphasis on performance auditing. If nominated as a member of ECHA, I shall certainly bring the expertise and experience of my entire career to my role in enhancing vigilance and combating fraud and corruption, especially in those areas where risks are higher. I wish to assure you that as I have shown in my professional life, as a member of ECHA, I would act professionally, with independence and with integrity. I would also serve with absolute loyalty to the European Union goals and the values and mission of the Court to improve citizens' trust in our institutions, to contribute to a more resilient and sustainable European Union, and to uphold the values that the European Union stands for. Madam Chair, members of the committee, I would like to thank you for your time, and I am open to any questions that you may have. Thank you.